Hi, it's Kyle Shannon. Today I'm going to be talking about momentum versus stasis, or starting over, or losing momentum. Not quite sure. One of those. Last night I watched the Netflix documentary on Tig Notaro, great comedian who in 2012 did an iconic 30 minutes on being diagnosed with cancer, along with a string of other stuff that happened in her life. And it, made her famous and did all this, and the documentary was really about the story leading up to it and what happened after it. And what was really amazing to me was that set could only be done once. Luckily she recorded it, they just had audio of it, but the documentary handled that well. But she basically had to wipe out all of her material and start over, and for 6 months she was struggling just to get on stage. And this was at a time in her career when everything was going well, everything was going up, she was working all the time. So to watch someone who was at the top of their game all of a sudden be stuck with no material, no confidence to go on stage, even though she'd just done this had this amazing moment in history of comedy and just storytelling, was really fascinating. So that lack of momentum, or the sort of hard breaks that she experienced when all of these events happened in her life, and she had this moment and was stuck with starting over, you could really see her struggling with, how do I get out of this? That once the momentum stopped, what seemed easy before because there was momentum, now all of a sudden seemed like, how do I even write a joke? How do I even say a joke? Where do I start? What do I say? And it reminds me in a fun way of these little videos where I committed to do them every day, and I'm human, I don't do them every day. But in the past week or so, I haven't done any in, 6 or 7 days. And what hit me was, it is hard to spin up momentum. It's relatively easy to keep it, but once you let that wheel spin back down, it's really difficult to sort of step back into it. Like all those doubts of, when you're doing something over and over again, it becomes kind of rote, at least the impetus to do it. And if you let that stall, then it's hard to start it back up again. So that was my revelation after watching that documentary. So I think the lesson here is not anything profound. I think the lesson is appreciate when you're in a time in your life where you've got momentum, and don't take it for granted. It's one of those things that when you're in it, if you've ever been in sort of a creative flow, or if you've ever been doing something where it seems really easy, and then 2 hours later, when you stop and look back on it, you wonder how you even did that. Well, that's kind of what momentum is like, that once you get something rolling, it's easy to imagine it keeping rolling, but the minute you hit the brakes, the idea of starting it up again is tough. So get momentum, keep it if you can. If it stops, just keep moving forward while you slowly spin that wheel back up, and it'll eventually spin back up. But if it's spinning, appreciate that. That'd be my lesson.